House Ethics Committee is set to meet to recommend a punishment for South Florida Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick. She's at risk of getting expelled from Congress after accusations she funneled millions of dollars in stolen FEMA money into her campaign.
In light of Ms. McCormick's resignation earlier today, the Committee on Ethics has now lost jurisdiction in this matter.
Listen, we have been following this story for a minute now, and today it just hit a breaking point. Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick has officially resigned from Congress, not after clearing her name or after fighting the allegations, but right before she was about to be expelled. And that tells you everything you need to know. Good afternoon, beautiful people, and welcome to Nellie Miranda. As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so according to the House Ethics Committee, after a 2-year investigation, they found 25 violations of House Ethics rules, campaign finance violations, and misuse of funds tied to her political campaign. 25. Not one mistake, not 2 or maybe 3 mistakes. 25 separate violations. And we're not even talking about paperwork errors. We're talking about a scheme tied to millions of taxpayer dollars. So yes, she does not deserve to be in her position.
Tonight, Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick is staring down potential expulsion from Congress. Congresswoman, any statement? The House Ethics Committee is set to meet tomorrow to recommend a punishment after ruling the South Florida Democrat committed more than 24 ethics violations.
And the allegations before us are extremely serious.
The 2-year investigation from the bipartisan panel finding what it called clear and convincing evidence that Cherfilus-McCormick stole $5 million in FEMA COVID-19 relief funds and funneled that money towards her campaign for Congress. The Democrat has fiercely denied the charges, telling Local 10's Glenna Milberg on This Week in South Florida that the push to expel her is part of a political attack.
And I told everybody from the beginning that this was all politically motivated to have salacious outlines, headlines.
But demands to expel Cherfilus-McCormick have only grown louder. Florida Republican Greg Steube leading the charge, writing, expelling someone who stole $5 million from taxpayers should be the easiest vote in Congress. Forcing Cherfilus-McCormick out of office would require a wave of Democrats to cross party lines. So far, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has refused to weigh in.
We'll have a conversation as a caucus in the aftermath of the recommendation, which we anticipate will be bipartisan from the Ethics Committee.
Federal prosecutors are alleging that about $5 million in COVID relief funds was mistakenly overpaid to her family's healthcare company. And instead of returning it, knowing good and well it wasn't hers, she allegedly funneled the money through businesses, used it for campaign funding, and even spent it on personal luxury items like a 3-carat diamond ring. Now, she has pleaded not guilty, so let's be clear on that. But at the same time, the Ethics Committee says that they reviewed 33,000 pages of documents, dozens of witnesses, and issued subpoenas across the investigation. So this wasn't rushed. This wasn't political theater overnight. This was built over years, and yet Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick will have you believe that this is political gamesmanship. And just like expected, she resigned before expulsion.
I would like to read a letter into the record. This letter is dated today, April 21st, 2026. It is addressed to the Honorable Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. The letter reads, Dear Mr. Speaker, I hereby resign my office from the 119th Congress as representative from Florida's 20th Congressional District, effective Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, 1:30 p.m. It has been an honor of my lifetime to serve the people of my district, and I remain proud of the work we have accomplished on behalf of our communities. After careful reflection and prayer, I have concluded that it is in my best interest and the interest of my constituents and the institution that I step aside at this time. I remain committed to supporting a smooth transition and ensuring a continuity of service for the district. Signed, sincerely, Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, Member of Congress.
Resigned. She was not going to beat this case, no way. So she made the right choice. And you too can make the right choice by calling Chapter. If you are 65 and up and are on Medicare, listen closely. You might be on a plan where you are either overpaying or it simply isn't the best fit for your needs. There are so many different plans, coverage, and costs, and I'm sure you guys try to do your research, but the government websites are so confusing. So for only 20 minutes of your day, Chapter will walk you through all of your options and make sure that you are getting the best plan suitable for your needs. The call is completely free. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain, including a peace of mind. Imagine an emergency medical situation comes up and your current plan doesn't even cover it. That would be a complete nightmare. So you owe it to yourself to double check. So again, if you are on Medicare and you love yourself as much as I love you, please dial 646-817-8160. That is 646-817-8160, or go to askchapter.org/Nelly. Now back to the story. And by the way, can we acknowledge my improvement on the word ask? Okay. Anyways, this article from AP reads, Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick is resigning from Congress rather than be formally disciplined by the House as part of an ethics investigation into her use of campaign funds. Explaining her decision in an extended social media statement Tuesday, the Florida Democrat decried the internal investigation process as unfair. She said the House committee denied her and her new attorney adequate time to prepare a defense. Rather than play these political games, I choose to step away. Yeah, no, you are not stepping away because you don't want to play games. You are stepping away to avoid being expelled because you know you're guilty, allegedly. Now, let's talk about the hearing itself. This was one of the first public ethics hearings in a really long time. And what stood out to me was she refused to testify, invoking the Fifth Amendment. Her attorney argued that the process was unfair, but lawmakers from both parties showed skepticism. This wasn't just Republicans going after a Democrat. This was bipartisan concern. Why are you stealing money from FEMA, knowing you live in a natural disaster-prone state? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. And again, as I told you earlier, this wasn't a rushed case. They've been working on this for over 2 years, combing through multiple documents, and the Congresswoman was given multiple opportunities to provide exculpatory evidence, and she didn't.
In light of Ms. McCormick's resignation earlier today, the Committee on Ethics has now lost jurisdiction in this matter. There will not be a sanctions hearing. I would like to thank the committee staff who are with us today for their 2.5 years of hard work in this matter. I will tell you that the committee has worked diligently to investigate this matter, that this was not a rush to judgment as some would claim, that this was a very deliberate process to gather information into allegations that were extremely serious and extremely complicated. There were multiple witnesses that were spoken to over a 2-year period. There were tens of thousands of documents that were subpoenaed, gathered, and reviewed. And throughout this process, Ms. McCormick, who has now resigned from Congress, had multiple ample opportunities to present exculpatory evidence to the committee and to address the committee both by way of a voluntary statement and then also to comply with the subpoena that was issued in this case.
The reality is resignation was the best choice. She was about to lose anyways. There was already strong support for expulsion, including from Democrats. And remember, it takes 2/3 vote to expel a member of Congress, and the votes were there. So instead of being formally expelled, which would be historic and quite humiliating, she stepped down first. That was the strategy, and clearly it was a good one. But to be clear, I am not happy that this is happening to her. It is very unfortunate that she put herself in that position and stole money from taxpayers, allegedly. The faith-based community sent letters to the committee, and one of the letters had this to say: "Our communities deserve stability. Our voices deserve to be heard. And our right to representation must be protected." Yes, I understand we want representation, but we want honest representation. People with integrity. People who will do the right thing when no one is looking. People who, if you drop a few $1,000,000 in their bank accounts, knowing that it isn't theirs, they will return it. And something that is often overlooked when we start playing into identity politics is that wrong is wrong regardless of identity. But what are your thoughts? Do you think she resigned to avoid accountability, or was this process unfair from the very beginning, like her and her lawyers are claiming? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but before I let you go, I want to thank all of you for supporting my show. And if you would like to support me further, please head over to my website, NellieMiranda.com. The designs are clean, simple, and intentional. And if you want to wear something that says something like allegedly or follow the money, please head over to the website and order some merch. And if you got any value from today's video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss any future updates. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.